Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Canyon. Welcome back to a little bit of a quick one, a little quick tech note. Traxxas axles, the only Traxxas axle that there is, the Portal axle, is unlockable. And of the main brands, it's one of the only unlockable ones. And lockers are either useful to you or they are not useful to you. And for many of us, this is the way we're obtaining our axles. If you recognize a single axle in a Ziploc bag, you're going, Jenny's RC. Yes, Jenny's RC indeed. For whatever reason, and we know exactly what the reason why is, the sport axles, which come with spools in them. This is a rear axle for a TRX-6, but as I said, the process is the same for all of them. The TRX-4 sport axles go out of stock instantaneously because they have spools in them, and most people don't want to mess with lockers. I am one of those people. I have a handful of TRX-4 axled TRX-4s or TRX-4 axle vehicles that are indeed fitted with lockers. Most of them I omit the locker for weight savings and simplicity. I don't want to run the servos, I don't want to run the extra channels. So the beauty of it is that it's a Traxxas, it's a TRX-4. So you basically don't even have to keep track of the fasteners because every screw that you're going to remove is the exact same size. It's beauty. Slide that out, boom. We take those, we take that out, we take this out. There's basically nothing technical about the procedure that you're about to witness, and that's the beauty of it. It is a tech note nonetheless. You just set them down off to the side. Then we have 4 more screws that are the exact same length, size, and dimension of the ones that we previously removed. If you're lucky, you can leave all 4 in there and not have to worry about taking them out. We remove our diff cover, and there is our locker mechanism. The locker mechanism is this little guy. It's very ingenious. This cable pushes and pulls on that little guy in there, and that is what accomplishes the locking mechanism. Well, we don't want to do that. We want to omit that. So we're going to pop off a clip right here. Now, I will say that if you buy the spool, it comes with a little plug to fill the hole that is going to be left here when we push. Oh, I almost forgot a step. The cable has to be pushed through the housing. So if your cable is already installed on a vehicle, I'm just going to take them out so we don't drop them all over the floor. If your cable is already installed on a vehicle, you're going to have to do the same thing, which is get some little small pliers, grab that little ferrule, and just twist this off. It comes off, as you can see, quite easily because we're going to push that cable all the way through. We're going to give the cable a little push, and it's just going to rock the whole mechanism out with us, and then we can go and pull this guy right out. There is your locker. Not spool, but locker. Now, if you are not here to save money, and you just want to do things as simply as possible, you order the Traxxas spools. They're $10 a piece. You will then undo these 4 screws, take all of this mechanism off, put the other piece down on there, and put it back together. And it will come with a little plug to fill this hole right here. Now, luckily for those of us who are of the inexpensive feeling, and know that we're never going to turn this back into a locker, the quickest, easiest, and cheapest way is you can just take a 4mm screw and you can just blast it in there and it will seal it off. Or alternately, you can run a 4mm tap into it if you happen to have one on hand. Get yourself a 4mm set screw or bolt, whatever you happen to have on hand. Run that in right like that. And we just sealed it for nothing. I mean, if you don't have a tap, then, because the only reason we're here is ultimately to save money. Because, as I said, a spool is $10, which means it'll cost you $20 to do both ends of your TRX-4, or $30 to do all 3 axles of your TRX-6. And the weight savings is not unsubstantial, is substantial. Let's not double negative it. So we'll put the pinion back in, and here's what we're working with. You've got this guy right here. This is your locking mechanism. This is what makes the locker work. Right? So that drops down in there just like that. So now that is locked. And what that does is it just slides it out. And you see how you have that little space right there? That little space is specific. It is 2.3 millimeters, the amount of that gap. The engagement of the tooth on the locker unit is 2 millimeters. And this shaft right here is 7.5 millimeters, which is both fortunate and unfortunate for us. Here in America, where the imperial system is still everywhere, this guy right here, this is a 5/16 inch flat washer. It is 5/16 of an inch, aka right about 8 millimeters ID, and it is 3/4 of an inch OD, which is right between 18 and 19 millimeters. So that will slide right over like that. You put this bearing back on here, and it will indeed just drop right back in. No interference. And because that washer is 1.8 millimeters thick, meaning it leaves about 1/2 of an inch of gapping, there's no way that that thing can unlock itself. Now, you can do any other, you could put electrical tape on there and then razor knife out the hole to make it tight if you want it to fit tighter. That's an easy thing to do. The only reason we would do something like this is because that washer is about 15 cents. And odds are, if you've ever bought anything that used a bolt before, you probably have a 5/16 inch washer floating around, or multiples. There are other washers you can get even closer, but the 5/16 flat washer, which you can get in zinc plated, stainless ones will cost you about 25 cents. You have to spend about another 10 cents. Or if you have access to machines and equipment like I do, you get a little piece of plastic. This is, I want to say, 12 millimeter rod. I drilled the hole out in the center to 7.5 millimeters. Put that down like that, and now that is locked. Locked and sealed. And then you put it back together. So for the average Joe, I don't mean to call any of you average, a 5/16, or I guess more specifically, for the purposes of a TRX-4, a pair of 5/16 flat washers, which will cost you about, let's say, under 50 cents. Depending on what style you go with, under 50 cents. And that's it. You take the screws out, you put them back in, you put it back together. And now that axle is spooled. And then you have a bunch of these cables hanging out. Lockers are great. They're great, but I don't think that they're required in every situation. If you've built yourself a trail rig, or if you're using it exclusively trailing, great. I have seen people employ lockers on rock crawling to great effect, because you can give yourself, it's almost like, it's not like dig, but it's more like freewheel. If one axle is overworking and it's causing your vehicle to flop around, then the locker can be beneficial. Being able to lock it and being able to lock it and unlock it. But I don't, I like I said, of the number of vehicles here on TRX, and then we throw these in the bin where we have a great number of these. The number of instances where I'm locking or unlocking an axle is fairly small. So there's your guy, the 5/16 inch flat washer. Literally, it will take you longer to get the axle off of the vehicle than it will to lock it out. And then you're good to go. You're good to go. There it is, 5/16 flat washer. In Europe, I don't know. As so long as your 8 millimeter washer, I don't know if a 7.5 millimeter washer is a thing. So long as your 8 millimeter washer has an ID of no bigger than around 19 millimeters. You're good to go. So I don't know how big around, like the smaller around does not matter. Like if they have what they call here AN washers, which are, I have one. So I did two things. I went and found an AN washer. This is a 3/8 inch AN washer, but as you can see, it is much smaller on the OD if that is something that is your concern. If you've got a coffee can full of washers, just dig through them. I also Googled an M8 washer is 16 millimeter OD on the outside, so that will work perfectly. And those are even cheaper if you're buying them in quantity, but I still like to treat them as if they cost 15 to 20 cents because are you going to buy a box of 50 because you need 2? We're here to save money, right? So and also a 5/16 and washer has a 9 millimeter internal bore instead of an 8, and you could try a 1/4 inch and washer. Dig through the washer bucket. Everybody's got a dad. Somewhere dad's got a bucket full of washers. I'm a dad. I know I have a bucket full of washers. That is exactly where I got this 5/16 washer. And I have a number of other sizes as well. So I hope it helped. If it did, cool. Thanks for watching. Coming back to see what we got. I will see you all in the next one.